Meet BitChat, a messaging app that runs entirely on Bluetooth. No servers, no phone numbers, no accounts. Just peer-to-peer communication that works even when everything else fails. This isn't just another messaging app. It's a response to a growing problem. See, every time you send a WhatsApp message, it travels through centralized servers. Sure, they say it's encrypted, but Meta still knows who you're talking to, when you're talking, and where you're located. The U.S. House just banned WhatsApp from government devices because of security concerns. Privacy experts are sounding alarms about how messaging apps collect and share our data. But here's where it gets interesting. Back in 2019, something remarkable happened in Hong Kong. As pro-democracy protests erupted, activists faced a terrifying possibility. What if the government shut down the internet? What if they blocked messaging apps? They needed a backup plan. Enter mesh networking. Apps like BridgeFi and FireChat suddenly exploded in popularity. BridgeFi saw downloads increase by nearly 4,000%. In just 1 week, 75,000 people in Hong Kong downloaded it. Why? Because these apps work without any internet connection at all. Here's how it works. Your phone has Bluetooth, that same technology you use for wireless headphones. Mesh networking apps use Bluetooth to connect directly to phones nearby, usually within about 100 meters. But here's the clever part. Messages can hop from phone to phone to phone, creating a network that extends far beyond that initial range. Imagine you're at a protest. You need to message someone on the other side of the crowd. Your message jumps from your phone to someone nearby, then to another person, then another, until it reaches your friend. The people in the middle can't read your messages. They're just relay points in this human chain of communication. During the Hong Kong protests, this technology became essential. When cellular networks got overloaded, when authorities tried to monitor communications, protesters kept organizing through mesh networks. One protester told reporters they were using the apps to organize themselves and stay safe without having to depend on an internet connection. Now Dorsey's taking this concept even further with BitChat. He built it over a single weekend, calling it his experiment in Bluetooth mesh networks, relays, and store and forward models. The beta version hit Apple's test flight and filled up all 10,000 testing slots almost immediately. What makes BitChat different? First, it's completely ephemeral. Messages exist only in device memory, no cloud storage, no permanent record. Second, it uses end-to-end encryption with something called X25519 key exchange and AES GCM protocols. In simple terms, your messages are scrambled so thoroughly that only the person you're sending them to can unscramble them. The app includes IRC-style commands for those who remember the early days of internet chat. You can create password-protected rooms for group conversations. And here's a smart feature. It can store messages for up to 12 hours if someone's temporarily out of range, then deliver them when they reconnect. But why does this matter to you? Think about the last time you lost cell service. Maybe you were at a packed concert where the network got overloaded. Maybe you were hiking in a remote area. Maybe there was a natural disaster that knocked out infrastructure. Or maybe you just care about privacy and don't want every conversation flowing through corporate servers. This technology isn't just for protesters or privacy extremists. After disasters like hurricanes or earthquakes, traditional networks often fail. Aid workers in the Philippines used mesh networking after typhoons knocked out communications. The technology helped coordinate rescue efforts when nothing else worked. The timing of BitChat is no accident. Dorsey's been on a mission to decentralize everything. He left the board of Blue Sky, the decentralized social network he helped create. He's been criticizing how a few giant companies control our digital communications. This is his answer. Take the power away from the platforms entirely. Of course, mesh networking has limitations. You need other users nearby to create the network. The more people using it, the better it works, the opposite of traditional networks that slow down with more users. And right now, these apps are mostly useful in dense urban areas or large gatherings where you have enough people to create that mesh. But here's what's fascinating. We're watching the early days of a new kind of internet, one that doesn't rely on corporations or governments, one that exists in the spaces between our phones, in the air around us, one that can't be shut down because there's nothing central to shut down. Dorsey plans to add Wi-Fi direct support to increase speed and range. Other developers are building on similar ideas. We're seeing the birth of an alternate communication infrastructure, one that exists completely off the grid. The question isn't whether this technology will catch on. The question is what happens when millions of people realize they don't need permission to communicate. When protesters, activists, or just regular people who value privacy have tools that work without any centralized control. What do you think? Would you use an app like this? In a world where our digital lives are increasingly monitored, where our messages flow through corporate servers, where governments can flip a switch and cut communications, maybe the answer isn't building better centralized systems. Maybe it's abandoning the center altogether. Maybe the future of messaging is sitting right there in your pocket, waiting to connect directly to the person next to you, no internet required. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.